Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. You wanted mermaids? No? Now you're gonna have them. Let's do it. Here are the top 10 real-life mermaid sightings that can't be ignored. Stop ignoring mermaids. Let's talk about it. Kicking off the list at number 10, Captain John Smith. Another sea captain, another claim. Who is it this time? Not the great Captain John Smith, famous for settling Jamestown. He didn't see a mermaid in 1614, did he? He did? I knew it, I always knew it. The same captain famous for his relationship with Pocahontas almost got into an entanglement with some mermaids, it seems. He spotted a mermaid off the coast of Newfoundland, apparently, and he couldn't keep his eyes off of her. He noted her long green hair imparted to her an original character that was by no means unattractive. That's what he says. You ever get caught checking out another girl? Try that line. But babe, I was imparted by her long green by no means unattractive hair. You know how it is. Look at it. I'm only human. Smith noted her large eyes as well. Again, big eyes coming back in. Fine nose, well-formed ears, slight roast there. But once he realized her bottom half was a little fishy, he bolted. He saw the green hair and he's like, nice. Then he saw the fins and he's like, okay, I'm actually all set, see ya. Number 9, Hawaii. Heading over to Kauai Point, Hawaii. I've never visited, but I've always wanted to go. And now apparently they have mermaids, so I'm booking a flight. Reports came in around 1998 from Jeff Leacher. Jeff is a diver who runs the Jack's diving locker on the point, and he says, and I quote, "I feel very lucky that I'm the one to finally prove to the world what people here have known for half a century. The Kauai Point mermaid is real." You heard it here on Most Amazing Top 10, folks. Mermaids equals real. We got it. He was diving one day and he heard a group of people in a nearby boat screaming around, so he obviously looked to see if everyone was okay. He popped his head up, looked over, and saw a mermaid splashing around in the water. She had jumped in the air and she was doing flips, and it's at that point when he realized she was a half fish. I mean, obviously, or else just a really athletic chick just jumping out of the water just with raw strength. He actually claims to have gotten a photo of the mermaid as it was passing above him in the ocean. Check it out. Little too good to be true? Yeah, maybe, I don't know, it's a number 9 for sure. What do we think? Comment down below. Number 8, Zimbabwe. The world did not end in 2012, thankfully, but it certainly got a little weird for those in Zimbabwe. Back in 2012, contractors were working on a dam, but they got interrupted one day when a mermaid just appeared out of nowhere, just showed up and was like, hi, stop. Thanks. Living in Canada, I'd be more afraid of beavers when it comes to dams, but mermaids, I guess those are scary too. This mermaid appeared and the workers were so afraid, they were so shook that they refused to even finish the project. Even after rituals were performed on the water, the workers were still like, nope, I'm all set. Thanks. They had to fly in a whole new batch of workers just to get it going again, but they too also saw this mermaid. And they too also refused to finish the project. Delay after delay. Do you think it was a mermaid, or is something else really going on here? If I was being paid unfairly, I would probably lie about a mermaid as well, to refuse work, yeah. Try that at your next job. Just say you saw a mermaid at booth 11, so now you gotta sign out. Just a fish sitting in a booth like, hi, what's a special? Number 7, Kei Islands. Back in 1943, Japanese soldiers were posted up on the Kei Islands in Indonesia. They claimed to have run into a mermaid numerous times, just like the Zimbabwe dam. It's like it's their territory, almost. Which makes sense why they would be upset about a new dam, right? That's a mermaid highway you're trying to close, brother. Stop. On the Kei Islands, there were multiple encounters with multiple mermaids. The villagers referred to these creatures as orang ikan. Orang translates to human and ikan to fish. Human fish. While on patrol, Sergeant Taro Horiba had instructed the village chief to pass on any and all information if anybody sees one of these fish things, right? Well, somebody saw one, captured it, and Sergeant Hariba recalls the mermaid as being around 5 feet tall, skin was pinkish, and its face was human, but it had spikes around their head. And its mouth was that of a fish's mouth. So yeah, pretty hard to forget, I'd say. This was 1943, so the scientific community wasn't exactly sold off of this, so nothing ever came to be from this. But I weirdly believe this one. I don't know, a carp mouth is more believable than silvery blonde hair, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Number 6, Christopher Columbus. On his first trip overseas in 1493, Christopher Columbus claims to have seen not 1, not 2, but 3 mermaids. He even wrote about it. He said they rose well out of the sea, but they are not so beautiful they are said to be, for their faces had some masculine traits. Awesome. He's like, yeah, they're actually not that attractive because they look like guys. I'm like, awesome, thanks Chris. Maybe you should keep your eyes on where you're heading rather than trying to spot mermaids. I don't know. Just a little advice from the future. Historians believe Columbus may have gotten confused, classic Columbus, and he saw manatees instead of mermaids. Their skin is also pink and fleshy, so that's a fair mix-up, I guess. Maybe that's what everybody has been seeing this whole time. Still, I want to believe. Don't you? Let's move on. Number 5, ancient Romans. Oh, we're going way back for this one. Interesting, okay. The 1st century, ancient Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder, he wrote a book, we've mentioned it on here a few times now, it's called Natural History, and this is like the holy grail of ancient history, okay, of ancient knowledge. In it, the Elder wrote about mermaids, oddly enough, these half-human, half-fish creatures that Pliny called nereids. The Elder added to his observation detailing that even the human parts of the body were covered in rough scales. The Elder also recalled seeing a seaman who would climb ships at night and eventually sink the ships, like overnight. Some Assassin's Creed mermaids? That's a DLC I'd buy, hands down. Number 4, Jenny Hanivers. Back in the 1500s, numerous mermaids were appearing in Antwerp. They had appeared so often that sailors had a nickname for them now. They were called Jenny Hanivers. Now, not only did they approach tourists, which terrifying, but they were also all business as well. They were all businessmen with fish bottoms, just trying to sell you things. Yeah, they would sell objects to tourists. Imagine hanging out by the sea, relaxing one day, and then a manfish approaches you trying to sell you a cigar. I'm like, can you go back? Where did you even come from? Also, you smell like fish. They were also referred to as devilfish, and perhaps they were the enemy of Christ. One of those two things, so you really don't know what to expect when a mermaid approaches you, so just a heads up, be careful. They might try and sell you something, or they might try and get you to sell you their soul. I just like doing that. I'll do mermaid lists all day if I can just do it like this. It's more of a snake, but you know, I'm trying my best. Number 3, oh Canada. Being a Canadian, we have to include a Canadian sighting of a mermaid. Of course, I missed this one. I wasn't born just quite yet. This was reported back in 1967 in British Columbia. When a group of tourists were on a ferry, they apparently saw a fish person. A mermaid. They all thought they saw a legit mermaid because of their silvery blonde hair. Was she splashing around in the shallow water? Was she doing backflips as she jumped over the waves? Nope, she was just sitting there enjoying lunch. The tourists all report this mermaid sitting down eating a salmon while the waves crashed over her tail. That's like a deleted scene from Little Mermaid. The city was jazzed about this, I guess. They put out a reward for $25,000 for this mermaid in hopes that it was a hoax or somebody would turn up, but sadly nothing happened. Number 2, Wales. I mean Wales as the place, not Wales like, this is all mermaid talk here, okay? In 1603, off the coast of Wales, numerous reports were flooding in about a sea creature, humanoid fish monster. Nice and calm report there. This time it wasn't a sailor. It wasn't a dehydrated, confused guy behind the wheel of a boat. It was near Pendine, and it was a farmer named Thomas Reynold. He first saw it nearby on the shores, and then like a normal dude, he called others over to witness it as well. Cause yeah, back then you can't take a photo that's not even close yet. So he's like, hey, look at this. Oh my God. And then people ran over. They all stood by and watched this thing for around 3 hours. All the accounts were collected, and since it was, again, 1603, some dude had to draw out what they were talking about. Sounds exhausting. And this was the closest they could all get. I mean, that's believable and all, but I really hope this was a mermaid, or else maybe a bunch of dudes just gathered around and watched some fish mate. Or they watched someone drown for 3 hours. I don't know. Go check it out. It looks like a person, I know, right? Like, bro, go help, what? And finally, number 1, Sirens. Ben Stiller may think he's a glamorous merman, but in the 13th century Norwegian manuscript, these fish-human hybrids were described accurately. They were described as terrifying. I'm fairly positive that if mermaids were real right now, they're not like Ariel at this point. It's kind of hard to sing under the sea when a plastic bag wraps around your face, you know, mid-chorus. These mermaids were referred to as sirens, monsters, described as tall and great of size, shoulders like a man, but no hands, like one of these, aka fish person. Whenever the monster would appear, historically, doom was meant to follow. It was a bad omen, obviously. Kind of like the Goblet of Fire, those mermaids. Those mermaids were a mess. Oh my God, what a horrible school that was. Terrifying. When the 18th century rolled in, Europeans in the Dutch Indies discovered plants and creatures that had never been seen prior. So, naturally, they would document these new discoveries in detail. And in 1718, a painter named Samuel Fallers claimed to have discovered and caught a siren, a mermaid. He brought her into his home, apparently, and drew this on the spot. And after day 4 of living in a container of water, the mermaid died. She purposely didn't eat, and she starved herself to death. She refused to eat in this container. What a ride or die. Again, this was 1718, so part of me thinks maybe this happened. I don't know, why lie? I mean, we make up stories and movies and all that jazz now, but you know, James Cameron makes billions of dollars for it. Back then, there's no reason. It's like, hey, look at this painting. And they're like, cool. There's no reason to lie. Also, the fact that it's accurate to other sightings around the world in different centuries, it's a tad convincing. What do we think, folks? Those are the top 10 real-life mermaid sightings that can't be ignored. If you want a part 2, gladly, let me know. I'll do it right now. I've been your host, Taylor McWaters, and we'll see you next time on Most Amazing Top 10.